place I know, where the neighbors I find are gentle and kind, and the living easy and slow. My hometown is the only place to be. Here the worries are small and the kids grow tall and strong and healthy and free. It's my hometown, my hometown, Mayberry, Mayberry.
Good night, folks.
Andy Taylor was the sheriff of a town called Mayberry. Barney Fife was his best friend and his deputy. Aunt Bee was his housekeeper.
Sing along if you know it.
Opie was his son. And everyone called Andy the sheriff without a gun. Now Andy was a widower. He dated here and there until he met Miss Helen Crump, and they made a perfect pair. But there were other girls before her. Ellie Walker was the first, and then he met Miss Mary Simpson, the county nurse.
Yeah.
That's the life and loves of Andy Taylor, a man that we all came to know and love.
Sing along,
The
Mayberry.
Mayberry Sheriff Andy Taylor, somebody we just can't say enough of. Now there was one more woman before Helen came around. Her name was Peggy McMillan, a rich girl in town. Soon she disappeared, and then Helen became the one to end up as the woman for our sheriff without a gun. And later they got married, and then they moved away. Then one day they both returned for a brief stay, and they brought back something for everyone to see. It was Andy Taylor Jr., just as cute as can be. That's the life and loves of Andy Taylor, a man that we all came to know and love. The Mayberry Sheriff Andy Taylor, somebody we just can't say enough of. Yes, that's the life and loves of Andy Taylor, a man that we all came to know and love. The Mayberry Sheriff Andy Taylor, somebody we just can't say enough of. Yes, he's somebody we just can't say enough of. Andy Taylor, you're a man we'll always love.
There we are. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Whoa, can you hear me? There I am. Oh, that was good. Sorry I'm late. Even when I do it early, I'm still late. I don't know. So we have made it. Oh, there it is. Let me check my music here. All right, it's working. It's good to see everybody in the chat room. We got 24 folks in here. Next week, we should get back to the regular schedule so that we'll be back on Monday nights, I do believe, for at least a while, I hope. I got to check, make sure everything's still good. But as far as I know, we'll be back on that schedule. Let's see who's here. Let's see who's in the chat room. We got folks over at Facebook as well. So we got 25 folks. Good to see y'all. I see Goober Fife and Susan and Briscoe, Indiana Steve, Anthony, KJ, Lydia, Emmett Clark, Brisket, Mr. McBeevy, Big Ma, Judd and Jelsic, Mary Grace, Miss Mayberry, Sarah Blaine, Karen Burgess, Kentucky Mike, Quiet Sam, Joey, and Joanne, and 5 anonymous folks. Wow. A room full. So it's good to have you all here with us. We're going to be doing a little bit of fun stuff tonight. This was, for you guys that are here, you may have seen this. You may have already know about this, but there's a lot of people that listen to the podcast or now watch it that would not have seen this before, because this was done back in 2010, I believe. It was when I talked about this before. But this episode made me dig back into it just a little bit, and I found out a few things. Not much extra that's Mayberry related, but just stuff about the actual movie. So anyway, we'll go into that. This episode is called, let me pull up my show notes. It's called Barney's Girl, Tina. Tina. Oh, that's right. And I did research for you today. I watched the episode again. I watched the episode where Barney, what's it called? Barney Comes to Mayberry. Is that what it's called? Barney Comes to Mayberry. Yes. It's a color episode. I know some of you guys don't like color. That's a really good color episode. So if you haven't seen it, you need to go check it out. It was pretty funny. Huh. Tina Andrews. Tina Andrews kisses Barney, and he's like, huh? And he has to leave. So anyway, it's good stuff. Fun. If you haven't seen it, let me check my camera. Make sure you're not seeing anything you're not supposed to in the background. Nope. It looks like it's all good. I fixed my sign. One of them had fallen over the last couple of weeks. And I fixed it. Concert tonight, relaxed to music under the stars. That's right. That's us. I think I've got everything else kind of configured back that way. So, as everybody had a good week. It was a Happy New Year to everybody that has made it back from last week. It's our first meeting technically of the year, even though last week we did record an episode that came out on New Year's Day. So I hope you enjoyed that as well. So, all right, guys, we are going to get this show rolling. I believe, fingers crossed, that I have everything ready to go. It's like every week's an adventure. It's an adventure trying to see if I can remember what I did and what was supposed to happen. Let's see. Anything else going on? Oh, I hurt my finger. It's all right. I jammed a screwdriver into it. Well, a drill, but it's a screwdriver bit. Yeah, working on Jan's room for her. And I was trying to get a screw started and oh. So the funny thing was, this was the first time I've ever done it where I actually ended up with, you know what a Phillips head screwdriver looks like? It's kind of got the X in the top of it. You know, like, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, you can't see it. It won't focus on it. It's too little. No, you can't see it. Anyway, Phillips head screwdriver. So if you don't know what it looks like a X kind of on the end. So does the little hole in my finger. So that's kind of interesting. When I got it cleaned up, I looked at it and said, wow, there's an X on my thumb. Maybe it'll stay there. That'll be awesome. But it's nothing. It's just a, scratch, gouge, whatever. It'll heal up. It's not any problems. I got my Band-Aid on. I'm good. Band-Aids cure everything, don't they? So we're good to go. I got to go back to work tomorrow. I've been off this past week. It was the first time I've been off in a while. So I'm sure some of you have been off maybe for Christmas vacation. Some of the teachers may have already gone back. I'm not sure. Lydia, you should have checked out my thumb. You're a teacher. You could have checked it out. You look at my eyes. Maybe you can tell me if there's anything wrong with them. Band-Aids will cure it. Yep, a Band-Aid will cure it. All right, guys, let's get this show rolling. Thanks for being patient and waiting. I'm very late getting started, so let's get this thing rolling for you guys. This is episode number, 512. At some point, I'll actually figure out how to do these and get them started on time. Maybe I won't. Maybe I never will. But let's at least humor me into believing that maybe I will someday. Somehow, someday, I'll get these right. All right, guys, let me check my music one more time. Oh, and I'm peaking here. I need to turn myself down just a little bit. There we go. All right. I am ready to go if you are, so enjoy it. Let's see. Everybody ready? Alan, you're standing. I'm standing? I'm not standing. Let's see here. Did you hear about Alan cutting his thumb? That's right. I just scratched my thumb while I was cleaning my gun. No. Now they've got me dead on here in the chat room. The folks in the chat room have got me killed off already. Can you imagine that? Oh my goodness. Just seems like an episode of the Andy Griffith Show, doesn't it? All right, let's roll. Let me get everything recording. There we go. That's good. I believe we're ready to go, folks. I will see you on the other side of this recording. Two Chairs No Waiting, episode number 512, Barney's Girl Tina. Two Chairs No Waiting is brought to you each week by the folks over at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Guys, check out the coffee. They got Mayberry Finest Coffee. Absolutely great. We got Otis Campbell's Better Than Home dark roasted coffee, and Sunday morning breakfast blend. We even have decaffeinated coffee from the Mayberry Diner. Head over to Weavers and check it out. Or maybe you want to get this great t-shirt, Barney Fife Influencer. That's right. He's an influencer. Head over to weaversdepartmentstore.com and check it out. Two Chairs No Waiting is also brought to you by donations from listeners like you. The executive producer of episode number 512 is Susan and Wynn Arnold. So thank you, Susan and Wynn, and thank you for being here in Mayberry with me. It's great to be here. It's the first of the year. Everything's going, after Christmas and the New Year, everything's back to normal. Almost. And we're going to have some more Mayberry fun throughout 2019 because this is the second podcast of this year. We've got a report coming up from Randy Turner today that actually inspired me. So Randy Turner's report is going to be on Barbara Stewart. Now, as part of that, he's going to lead off the show in just a second, but as part of that, it had me looking at images of Barbara and finding pictures and things to show on the video version while Randy does his report. And I started looking through old images and things of Barbara. Now, Barbara Stewart is Miss Bunny on Gomer Pyle USMC. She was on the Andy Griffith Show a couple of times, and Randy will give you the back history on that. But during my search on this, I ran across a image that reminded me of a podcast I'd done back in, 2010. And I realized I didn't do video really back then, and I don't believe that is online anywhere. So I wanted to kind of freshen that up as well. So this inspired me to do both. So let's go and first hear from Randy Turner with This Week in Mayberry History.
Welcome to This Week in Mayberry History, a report by special correspondent Randy Turner of the Gomer and Cooper Pyle Comic Book Literary Guild of the Mayberry Historical Society.
Last week, I noted that Ronnie Schell was unusual and that he had limited exposure in the Andy Griffith Show, but was a prominent player in the extended Mayberry universe by co-starring in the spin-off Gomer Pyle USMC. While unusual, his situation was not unique, as it also applies to Barbara Stewart. Barbara was born on January the 3rd, 1930, in Paris, Illinois. She studied acting at the Schuster Martin School of Drama in Cincinnati before studying under famed acting teacher Stella Adler in New York City. This led to her being invited to join the national tour of the comedic play Lunatics and Lovers, co-starring with star Zero Mostel. Barbara made her television debut in the 1954 episode of the drama series I Led Three Lives, but gained wider attention with her first recurring role, playing Gildy's secretary Bessie in the TV version of The Great Gildersleeve. She also played a recurring character at the end of the 8-year run of the George Burns and Gracie Allen show on CBS, and then played a different recurring character on the retitled The George Burns Show on NBC in 1958. In the 1960-1961 season of the comedy Pete and Gladys, Barbara played the recurring character of Alice. She appeared as a guest star in many series during this period, including Peter Gunn, Tales of Wells Fargo, and The Danny Thomas Show. She appeared in an episode of The Twilight Zone and in 2 episodes of Perry Mason. Barbara made her first appearance in the Mayberry universe in the 8th episode of Gomer Pyle USMC, playing Hannah, the female title character in the episode Gomer and the Dragon Lady. The following spring, she appeared in Mayberry itself as a criminal who said her name was Pat Blake. She posed as a production assistant to a team pretending to be interested in developing a TV series based on a magazine article about Andy titled Sheriff Without a Gun. She said she was single and flirted with Andy to try to keep him off guard. The following season, Barbara returned to the spinoff, but in the role for which she is best remembered. In the 3rd episode of the 2nd season of Gomer Pyle USMC, she was introduced as Bunny Harper, who became the girlfriend of Sergeant Carter for the rest of the series. Bunny was in a state of constant frustration with Vince Carter when their dating plans often went awry, thanks to our favorite Marine. Near the end of USMC, Barbara married actor Dick Gautier, best known as Jaime the Robot in the comedy Get Smart. They were married for 12 years. Barbara continued to be an in-demand guest actress in series. She notably played a recurring role in 1969 in the series The Queen and I, and appeared in series such as Love American Style, Barnaby Jones, Kung Fu, Starsky and Hutch, and Taxi. She played the wife of McLean Stevenson's character in The McLean Stevenson Show. In 1985, she played the wife of a mafia godfather in the made-for-television movie Our Family Honor, and reprised the role in the series of the same name. Barbara did little film work early in her career. She played a small uncredited role in the 1958 film Deep Six, and appeared in only 2 other films during the 1960s, Marines Let's Go in 1961 and Hellfighters in 1968. Beginning in 1979, though, she appeared in a handful of films, including the 1980 comedy Airplane and the 1984 Tom Hanks film Bachelor Party. Barbara's final acting role before retirement was a recurring character in the Showtime series Huff. She left acting in 2006 before passing away in 2011 at the age of 81. Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for listening, and remember to take Andy's advice and go out there and act like somebody.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Randy, for that great report on Barbara. Barbara was such a great lady. If you want to make sure you don't miss any of Randy's reports and things he's doing online, send him an email at turnersgrade@gmail.com. That's turnersgrade@gmail.com. So as I said, I was going through, because of Randy's report, I was going through and picking out some images and things that I showed during the video version. So if you watch the video version of the podcast, you see images of Barbara as we go through. Now, the name of the episode, as I said, is Barney's Girl Tina. Now, Tina Andrews, or some of you may not know who that is. You'll need to know that to start with. So let's talk about Tina Andrews a little bit. Tina Andrews was a hometown girl from Mayberry who came back as in a season 7 episode called Barney Comes to Mayberry. Now, you may or may not remember her, but Barney came back to town on the train. And when he got there, this huge crowd of people were waiting, and he thought they were all there to see him. If you haven't seen this episode, go and watch it. It's on Netflix. There's DVDs. You can buy them at Weaver's Department Store if you'd like. But watch this episode. It's a great episode. It's a great color episode. I know a lot of folks don't enjoy the color, but this one's great. So he came back on the same train as Tina Andrews. Now, Tina Andrews is a big movie star. Now, Tina is from Mayberry, and her name when she was in Mayberry was Irene Flogg. And so Barney knew her. He'd even gone out with her. That skinny girl with braces, he went out with her a couple of times. And so Andy and Barney went over to see him, and he got to see her. Of course, when they got there, she ran up and thought Andy was Barney, and Andy had to point, no, this is Barney over here. And she apologized for not realizing which one he was. So anyway, that's who Tina Andrews is. Okay. So so this is the reason I wanted to bring this back up. So that was on the Andy Griffith Show, season 7. Now, Gomer Pyle was running at around the same time, and I'm not sure, and I didn't check, and I should have, to see exactly when this episode aired. But there's an episode of Gomer Pyle USMC in the 4th season that's called Change Partners. Change Partners is the name of the episode. Now, in that episode, before we get started further, let me go ahead and tell you, there's a portion of that episode where we see Miss Bunny, and she is actually standing outside the Bluebird Cafe. That's from the Andy Griffith, the Bluebird Diner, and the Andy Griffith Show. Well, there's the Bluebird Cafe that she's standing outside of. All right, but what really caught my eye, and what really caught the eye of Matthew Morgan back in April of 2010, because he's one of our listeners and he caught into this. He saw Miss Bunny and Sergeant Carter standing outside the movie theater. And they were standing outside, and behind them, there was a poster on the wall. It was a movie poster there at the movie theater. It was on there, and they're discussing and talking. Well, he noticed while he was watching it on his television and wrote to me and told me that movie is called Mountain Girl, but it says Tina Andrews in Mountain Girl. That's right. Behind Sergeant Carter and Miss Bunny was clear as day a movie poster that said Tina Andrews in Mountain Girl. So Tina Andrews from the Andy Griffith Show, tying these back together, right there she was. Good old Irene Flogg was starring in a movie right there called Mountain Girl. All right. So what I did then was I went and tried to capture the image so I could see it, and it was a little grainy and dark. And so I increased the color resolution and kind of fixed it. Anyway, and I did some research. I started looking into it because this movie poster that was on the wall behind the two of them, it had like palm trees and guys and ladies like they were running away from something. Maybe there was a storm coming. It looked like a hurricane or something. But up at the top of the movie poster, it actually says a forbidden paradise into a raging hell. It's what the subtitles of this movie were. This looked very much like it must be a real movie because this doesn't sound like Mountain Girl. This looks like a beach. There's, like I said, there's palm trees and folks running away and all that. So I started looking into this even further. And as I looked into it and did some more research, I found the actual movie. The actual movie is called The Island of Lost Women. It's the same poster. Now, all these will be available to you. You can go on our show notes for this episode, number 512, and there will be a link there where you can go and look at these pictures and see it. But this is the original. I found the original poster that says it's Island of Lost Women. Down at the bottom, it says Jeff Richards, Vanetta Stevenson, John Smith, and it's got June Blair, Diana Jurgens. They were the stars of this movie. And so anyway, I thought it was really interesting. I actually found the movie online, Island of Lost Women. And as I started looking into it even further, I was able to find out that some of the actresses that were in there, one of them in particular was Alan Napier. Now, that name, I don't know if it'll seem familiar to you or not, but Alan Napier was Alfred on the Adam West version of Batman, the television series. He was Alfred. He was in this movie as well. So there's a connection. Miss Bunny was on Batman. Barbara Stewart was on Batman with Alfred. And then Alfred was in the movie, The Island of Lost Women with Tina Andrews, I guess. And so there's a tie. And that movie poster, The Island of Lost Women, that was then converted into the Tina Andrews Mountain Girl movie on Gomer Pyle with Miss Bunny standing in front of it. So there you go. Boom, boom, boom. There's like 3 connections. I love it. Drop the mic. I'm done. I love stuff like this. It's just neat. It's neat for me to see. Now, Mountain Women, not Mountain Women, The Island of Lost Women. There's an article on it on Wikipedia. So I went out there and found that. And Dr. Paul Julian is who Alfred played. I want to call him Alfred. He played him. And he basically had 3 daughters. And these 2 guys got shipwrecked, or no, their planes crashed or landed on this island. He didn't like these men being here because he's got his 3 pretty daughters, the oldest one, the middle one, and the youngest one, which was 16. Well, the 2 older ones liked the men whose plane crashed, and they couldn't leave because they had to fix their plane. And of course, the girls fell in love with the men, and you know how this goes. And the youngest girl was mad because she didn't have a guy because the 2 older girls got him. And so she was, anyway, I haven't watched it, but that's basically the story. And anyway, I just thought this was really neat that we actually had Tina Andrews showing up in Gomer Pyle from Andy Griffith, that standing with Miss Bunny, and that the actual movie, it was an actual movie poster for The Island of Lost Women. Anyway, I talked about this back in April of 2010, but I figured it's been 9 years nearly since we talked about this. It is available on our Facebook page, the pictures. And if you go to the link in the show notes, you'll be able to go look at these pictures yourself and see what I found. But I thought it was time to just bring it up again because Randy's report actually caused me to run across the pictures of Miss Bunny and Sergeant Carter standing out in front of the movie theater. And when I ran across it, all this all came back into my mind. And I was like, oh, I did a podcast about this a long time ago. So if you heard it in 2010, I'm doing a refresher for you. So here you go. So it's not a rerun, but a refreshment. And I hope you have enjoyed it. So that is really all I have for you tonight. We got some fun stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks because we've got a little thing. I got an email today, so I didn't have time to put it together, but from our friend Dixie Griffith, we got an email because she was watching a show on Amazon, or a friend was, and had a little Mayberry sighting on there. So we'll try to capture some of that so you guys can see, and we'll know about it next week, and that's a little tease for everything. So I would love to hear from you guys. I'd love to hear from you as we're getting ready to get out of here. So please give me a call at 888-684-8415, or you can email me at floyd@imayberry.com. Easier, just head over to twochairsnowaiting.com, and all that information's there in the contact section, and you'll be able to get in touch with me. But I'd love to hear what you think about this particular episode. Tina Andrews in Mayberry, there she was, right there with Miss Bunny. Folks, I hope you guys have a great Mayberry week. Get out there and spread the Mayberry spirit, and head over to Weavers See if there's anything you might enjoy having for your very own. Until next week, have a great time, and we'll see you here on Two Chairs. All right, gentlemen and ladies, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed that in the chat room. That was an old one, but it was well, not really old. But I really got looking into it, and I did not know that, or did not remember that about Alan Napier, Alfred, being in that movie. I thought that was cool. And of course, Miss Bunny, she was also on an episode of Batman as the henchman that went through there. She was. Wasn't Bookworm. It's guy, he had a hat and the eyes popped. He had little things that popped up out of it. Mad Hatter. I guess he was the Mad Hatter. So she was on that episode, I believe. So which one was she on? I can look that up real quick. So Barbara had a lot of credits to her career. So it was easy to find pictures. I'm typing in Barbara Stewart Batman. Hold on, I'm trying to find out which episode she was in. So she starred as Rocket O'Rourke. What's the name of the episode? Let's see here. I'm trying to find out which episode she was in. Let's see if I can go look at this. But she was Rocket O'Rourke was the name of the character she played on Batman. I love it. I always loved that old Batman show. Man, I used to take that so serious. Robin was always getting tied up, and one time I remember he had a magnifying glass pointing at him, but luckily it was clouded. He was all tied up, and Batman was gonna get her. Rocket O'Rourke, that was her name. So here's the entries. These pictures were from Batman right here that I was showing. So there she is from Batman. And she had such an amazing career. I mean, when you start looking back and seeing all the different characters and different kinds of shows that she was on, pretty amazing. So yeah, this just tells me who her character was. I wanted to see which episode it was, but anyway, she was on an episode of Batman. She's been on several things like that as well, tons of stuff. So she had a great career. Got to meet her several times. I have some of the folks that were here last year for the meetup that's here at our house, which is coming up, I guess, the Two Chairs No Waiting meetup. Let's see. They got to see it. I've got an actual bunny rabbit over here that she threw out into the crowd at one of the events we did, and my wife caught it. And it's signed and autographed by Barbara Stewart. So that's kind of awesome. So if you guys haven't heard, here in Huntsville, we're going to be having the Two Chairs No Waiting, or the Two Chairs meetup right here in Huntsville. It's going to start on the 15th of February. So it'll be the 15th and 16th. That's a Friday and a Saturday. I don't think there'll be that many people coming, so we'll be able to have it here at our house. And so you'll be able to come here to the Two Chairs headquarters, the museum. I don't know what you want to call it. Some of you guys were able to come last year. I do not expect anyone to come. I don't expect that at all. It's wintertime, and it's not that easy to travel around. It's around Valentine's Day. And what more romantic thing could you have than to come to Huntsville, Alabama, to watch the Andy Griffith Show with a bunch of friends for Valentine's weekend? That would be awesome. So, but I do have, if you do come, I do have plenty of magazines to provide to you that are to the Mayberry Barber. We'll be glad to hand those out. Got some other cool things I'll show next week on the podcast. Look at this. Somebody sent me this. Isn't this cool? It was actually the folks that were our executive producers tonight, Susan and Wynn Arnold. They made this envelope. They made an envelope for me for Christmas. It says Merry Christmas. I think Calvin Coolidge said that. They sent me this Christmas card, sent me some pictures of themselves. Oh, now what this really is so this is what you could do with your old calendars, or you can buy calendars. These are it's a page from the calendar, and they took it and made a envelope. And see, they put this little thing on there to hold. Look, is this not awesome? That is so cool. I've never seen anybody do that. But I'll talk about them some next week. I've got some pictures here that they sent me where they had met me in the past, and that was kind of awesome. So that was very nice of them. They're supporting the show. I want to thank them for that. Hopefully they're getting to see the live show, but if not, I thank them anyway. So, folks, that's really all I have. I know this is a little shorter. I should have mentioned that when I covered this before, this topic of about the poster, that was episode number 79 of Two Chairs No Waiting, and there was no video back then. So let me see if I can show you this, because I went out and found the video. I do have video of it, but look how bad it looks. Let's see if I can pull this up real quick for you. The video looks absolutely terrible. It's yellow, man. I mean, it looks, I feel like it's a little dark right now in here. Something's not right exactly. I've got to work on my lighting. But the episode that I did back then, it was yellow. So I'm not sure what I had done or what I had to the lighting. I really don't know. But it did not look right at all. So I do have the magazines to swing it. That's right. That movie only played in a theater in Mayberry. I don't know, because Sergeant Carter and Miss Bunny went to the movie at, in California somewhere. So they must have been there. There's the music. So it is playing. Let's see if I can pull it up for you. Oh, that looks good. Two Chairs No Waiting, episode number 79. Hold on, I add it. Tina Andrews on Gomer Pyle USMC. Two Chairs No Waiting. Listen how boring I am. Each week by Weaver's Department Store. Weaver'sDepartmentStore.com. Drop by Weaver's and pick up all kinds of Mayberry items that you'll find there. They've got books, they've got DVDs. Look how bad the video looks. They've got it all. So just drop by. Oh my goodness. Let me see if I can put myself in this picture. Yeah, here I am. There I go. So this is from episode 79 back in April the 13th. Look how yellow I look. I think I had some jaundice. Is that what that's called? Jaundice? Yeah, I had to go sit in the sun for a while. I don't know. I'm pretty sure the shirt's yellow. So I don't know. Actually, that's a white shirt. Matthew Morgan. Oh, you know what's sad? I may still wear that shirt from time to time. That's just almost 10 years ago. I really need to get more clothes, don't I? Ouch. So anyway, this is what it looked like back then. And if you look, the actual room doesn't look a lot different behind me. I mean, it really surprisingly doesn't look that different. I'm afraid my whole podcast is like that. You really got to be a huge fan of the show. I think my beard was a little gray then. Look, maybe I'm not as old. I hadn't aged terrible. Well, let me tell you about this one. This one is, maybe it's yellow because it's old. Is that what happens to film? Is that? I'm not sure. Let me start over. Back in it's probably just the lighting. Yeah, it really was the lighting. I don't know. It was really bad back then. Horatio and Lydia both. Yeah, that particular episode looked like that. Then the next episode didn't look quite like this. So I'm not sure. So hopefully you'll remember this. What happened? Here's what happened. Barney was coming back to Mayberry. So I'm telling the basic similar story I told today, evidently. At least I'm consistent. Mayberry to attend the premiere of her new Hollywood movie. You know, because she is a small town girl, and they were going to have her come back to Mayberry. And you can't read Barney any of the stuff behind me. Was on the train with her. So when he got back, I don't know if you remember this, but he gets this was before HD, and all the crowd is out there yelling and waving for Tina Andrews. Green Bay Packer yelling. They found out that he was coming back to town, and they're all yelling for him. Well, turns out that the publicity man for Tina Andrews found out that Barney used to date her. That's right. Back when she went by the name Irene Flogg. So I have almost the exact same haircut. Meet with her and go out with her. Same beard. Go to the premiere. The glasses are different. That kind of stuff. Well,
Now, hopefully you remember that. If you don't, you ought to go watch.
Yeah, this
let's see
is
what
before
number-
I started
no,
putting
the number
videos
of the
online,
episode. It's
Susan.
season 7 of the Andy Griffith Show. Barney
As you,
Comes to
they
Mayberry.
don't look that good, so I never have
Seems
put
like
them
it was
all
number
back.
208 aired. So
You ought to
go
see
and,
the
go and
first
watch
one. I
that
could
if
show you all
haven't.
that in just a second.
Tina Andrews is her name. Isn't it? She spells it Teena. Tina.
So just for
Andrews.
fun, just for
Well,
fun.
Here is what Matthew found.
So this is Matthew. I'm
And if
telling
you're
the same
watching- I'm doing
story.
This
So
one is a podcast, a video podcast as well. So if you're watching it, I'm going to show you some images.
I streamed this
what
live
we
on
found.
UStream.
And before I go into
back
the Tina
then.
Andrews thing, I want to tell you this. I was watching this episode to catch what Matthew had told us about, to see it.
I don't
And,
like changing
What
it.
did I
You're right.
see? But, the Sergeant Carter's girlfriend standing in front of the Bluebird Cafe. Bluebird Diner. It's a Bluebird Cafe. She's standing on the street
The
waiting. on
Puzzler.
Sergeant Carter
Thank you, Anthony.
across the road from Gomer and Luann. And Luann spotted her and said, "Hey, isn't that
So
Sergeant
Barbara
Carter's
was
girlfriend?"
playing
And she was standing there, and
on the episode The
window behind
Puzzler,
her
with
said
the
Bluebird
Puzzler.
Cafe. Anyway, that's not what I was going to tell you about. Later in the episode, Sergeant Carter and Gomer and their girlfriends
On
have both
Batman.
been to the movies, and they came out of the movie theater. As they came out of the movie theater, Sergeant Carter's wanting to dump Gomer and Luann.
So we
Let me
won't
get
listen to
rid of
this again. This
And
is,
I
but there's the
was made
pictures. I showed them.
into a
Yeah, they
raging
don't look
hell.
too bad
I was able
there.
to find the actual movie poster.
There's the poster.
So this is just a little bit of Mayberry trivia idea, because I love that kind of stuff. Anything like that I
By
can
the way,
find.
episodes back then,
I
this
love
episode
it.
was only
So-
13 minutes long.
So drop by facebook.com and
I'm jumping
that's
here.
And there's as
Okay,
well
so
as-
Hi. You better get home, let Aunt B clean you up and fix your britches.
She ain't home. Miss Clara's sick and she went over to help out.
Oh,
Andy closes a drawer and gets up.
I better do something.
Oh, that's movies
Stepping
for the
around-
blind is what that is. All right, so let me show you guys some stuff here. So I have episodes going back further. See, this is episode 79, 64. If you guys, I think some of you have seen this before. Let me see if I can pull this over here and let it play. Episode 64, stretch this out. This is the very first attempt
playing the music
to,
for the theme.
to do video.
Podcast.
So when I did it back then, there was no, I'll turn myself down here. I had no way to actually be able to give you guys the
That has to get you psyched.
the theme music or anything. So I'm hearing it through those giant headphones, which I don't even have those anymore.
Figures. Let me try this again, guys.
But this is me. I'm basically just doing a live. This is what I used to do, how I did the show. I put the show together afterwards. So I would
you probably
record
changed
things
it
out of
around.
order
Different.
and then put it back together by just editing the audio back. And when I first started to do the live video versions of the show, I didn't
because I keep hearing my son.
I didn't expect anybody to show up. So see, you can see the other
let's make
door,
sure
the one that's
the,
over on the
audio
other
is
side of my
at a
room
good
here that you
level.
never see.
Let's turn this up a
Because the
little.
camera
See
is
better.
pointed from my right toward the
Right
left.
there. Hello, everybody. There. That looks pretty good.
And this is what
Yeah.
I do when you guys aren't here. I
You're
thought to
all right.
myself.
I am about there. It's about 6, between 12 and 6. This is about 12.
So this was a long time ago. Let's see if I can.
Hello,
I'm not even sure I
everybody.
can tell you what year
Welcome
it
to
was.
2 chairs, no waiting.
Well, that's too loud, Alan. Turn it. You're
Let's try
clipping.
this again.
So this was, well, this was possibly February 2010.
Hello, everybody. And wait a minute. I got to do the intro first. Stop.
Well, I could tell because it's actually episode 64. Let me see here. Let me pull this over here. I can tell you while you're looking here.
2 chairs, no waiting. Episode number 64. The new Andy Griffith Show. 2 chairs, no waiting is brought to you by Weaver's Department Store at weaversdepartmentstore.com. Drop by Weaver's and pick up anything you might not have gotten during the Christmas season or, that maybe people didn't give you. It's time for you to head over there and get it for yourself.
So you can't hear the
DVDs,
music or
books,
anything. You're just hearing me
t-shirts,
talk.
License plates.
So this episode was
covers,
recorded-
bag. It's great.
Well, it
All
was
kinds of great
released
stuff
on
there
December the
at
29th, 2009,
weaversdepartmentstore.com.
what you're seeing there.
2 chairs, no waiting is also brought to you by listeners like you. Thank you for your donations.
Man. Anyway, so see, I do that, and then there's a dead air. See, now I do it all in one take. And back then I'd record that. Then I'm doing something. I don't know. I'm doing something over my computer, and I'm coming back. I don't know. I think maybe like 2 people were at this, maybe 3. I think it seems like Emmett, you may have been at this and shown up. But this is how the video looked originally. So this is week 1. Okay. So this is very first try. Yeah, I am cringing. You're exactly right. This is terrible. Alan, we're over here. We're this way. Why are you? I look over here all the time. Hey, how you doing? Yeah. Actually, he's looking this way. I don't know. Am I looking? Yeah, I don't know. Now I'm holding up a piece of paper.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Two Chairs No Waiting, your Mayberry podcast. I'm your host, Alan Newsom, and it's great to have
this
you
is
with
funny.
us, or with me, since I'm the only one, actually.
Hey, I looked at the camera. Good job.
Hey, this week, because it is kind of slow time, a lot of times I don't have that many listeners. A lot of people don't listen during Christmas time, during this week in between New Year's and Christmas. Right. So since it's usually kind of slow, I thought I'd focus on something that you might enjoy, but it isn't actually part of Mayberry. It's kind of related, and I think you'll understand completely. It is related. But we're going to talk about the new Andy Griffith Show. The new Andy Griffith Show, if you don't know.
All right, so that's enough of this. That's enough of this. So this is week 1. Let me go ahead and show you what was really kind of neat, or is neat to see, is I'm going to kill that off. And what's really kind of neat to see is that was week 1, and that was 64. There's not a 65, so I don't know what I did and why there's not a 65. But here is episode 64.
Two Chairs No Waiting, episode number 66.
Oh, 66. So I jumped from 64 to 66. And as you see, in one week, I suddenly now have the capability of showing you pictures, at least.
And pick up one of the 2010 Mayberry calendars. If you're listening to this later.
So I was obviously trying to make improvements
still have some left.
as I went.
You can always get the pictures and use them. So
let's jump ahead here.
I interviewed a lot of people at that time.
So I still have the giant cameras on my head, or cans.
In 1998.
This is kind of interesting to me. If you're not interested, thanks for coming. You don't have to stick around.
And then we're going to go into...
See, the video still looks terrible, but it's a little better.
But, just to set you up, Jean Carson was the fun girl.
All right.
Remember her from the Andy
So this is... we won't listen to this, but that's 66.
Well,
I'm going to jump to 67 now. I just want to see what it looks like.
Whatnot. But,
so look at the difference in the video quality. So obviously... I fixed the video a lot.
Them up here, get them over here where I can read it.
And this is just in a couple of weeks. So
between, as I said, myself, Jim Clark from the Andy Griffith Show.
So this went from, this is episode number 67. We started out at 64. So just in the next few weeks here, boom, 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 64, 66, and then 67. See, obviously this video is better. So it's pretty amazing. I guess I was spending money in between each episode is what's happening. I'm getting new equipment in.
So he sent John Lawson.
So this is still not too bad.
Chapter.
So let's see.
He said,
that's
hey,
67.
I went to see.
Here's 68. Let's see what it looks
like. Put in mind, because I won't tell you. I want you to see if you can catch them.
Yeah,
but,
see this.
Sam Edwards.
I can stretch this out. There we go.
He was Mr. Scobie. Remember Scobie? The family got arrested. He was them, and
so the lighting's getting better. I'm slowly learning what I'm doing. This is kind of today in podcast history.
He was Mr. Scobie.
Anyway, I know you guys are all bored to death, but I thought this was kind of fun. Anyway, I got sidetracked as I said. So that's 68, then 69. Is anything different? Oh, here I'm showing pictures. Look at that.
And going and doing things with him,
and they're actually working.
I don't want to attitude too.
Oh, that's cool.
More serious, and
there we go. And I have junk and stuff sitting behind me back here. See back here.
Harley's going to tell us about attending.
Anyway, so as the weeks went by, things continued to improve, and lighting got better, sound got better.
I feel like that's important.
So anyway,
very involved in that.
Those were the early days of the podcast. I bored everybody and ran off. At least Maud and Big Maud and Judd and Jelsic, they've run away. Yeah, the sound got better. I eventually got my microphone that I use now, and anyway, it's pretty. It's pretty neat to go back and look at some of those. Now, those videos are not online. Those are not some that I've actually put somewhere online. So this is episode 75. Let me show you this because it's by then. That's about as good as I got it before I got the HD camera.
Just listening to the audio clips, and it gave me the idea.
That's Ken Anderson.
Sometime this week, I'm going to.
I recognize his voice.
And put them in my computer and turn off the screen and just sit back and listen.
Wow. So
any pictures.
Yeah, it's a little bit grayer. The hair's grayer, the beard's grayer.
That sounded just great. So keep up the good work, and we'll keep listening to you every week.
So anyway, it was fun doing,
thank you, Ken. And yeah, that
kind
is
of neat looking
lot
back
of fun if you listen
over
to the
time.
episodes. Just listen to the audio. I think it was Paul Mulick that was the first person I knew that done that.
Yeah, these are, I'm just skipping around here, but see, I have the new mic and everything by that point. So there you go. So this is, that's in 10 weeks, basically. Oh, no, this is episode 85. So no, it's 75. So I started out, that first one you saw was 64. And then that one was 10 weeks later, basically. So I try to make things better for you guys. It's all for you. It's all about you. That's what it's about. And I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I hope you enjoyed some of these little tidbits from behind the scenes. And we'll be back together next week. We'll talk about some of the stuff from Dixie that I was telling you about, that she told us about. That's going to be kind of neat. I've got to look it up and kind of see if I can capture it to get things going there. And then there's a couple of other things I have here I wanted to show you. So if you guys have ideas about things you want me to talk about, feel free to send them to me. Try to keep in mind that whatever you think I should talk about, things like, I've had people recommend before, which is, God love them. I appreciate it. It's a great idea. You should give a list of every pet or animal that appeared on the Andy Griffith Show. That's a great idea. You know how you do that? You watch all 249 episodes and write down every one of them. How long do you think it takes to watch 249 episodes of the Andy Griffith Show and write down every pet? Whoa, I don't have time. I can't do that. It's a great idea, though. It'd be interesting. 11 dogs. Yeah, there's a lot of dogs, a lot of different pets that Opie had. Some birds. You got 4 birds or so. I don't know, several birds. There's bound to be more than we're even thinking of, because there's got to be mentions. Who knows? So, but just think about if you have an idea. Not saying not to send it to me. Go ahead and send it to me. It doesn't mean I'll be able to do it, but feel free to fire them off and head back this way. Folks, it is great to see you. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for so many of you showing up here on the podcast, and whether you're here on live.twochairsnowaiting.com or back over at the Facebook page. Thanks for showing up. It's good to see you guys, and we'll catch back up with you as the week goes on. And next week, hopefully we'll be on Monday night. I expect to be back on our regular schedule coming up next week, but I will let you know if it's going to be early or late. Everybody have a great week, and we're going to see you next time right here on Two Chairs. Woo! So everybody pulling for the ball game tomorrow night. You got Alabama playing Clemson. So I don't know if North Carolina people pull for South Carolina or not. So, we watch the game and see how it goes. I know Lydia and I will see the game. It's hard. Clemson is Tigers. And it's kind of like Auburn with a lake up there. All right, guys, have a great week, and we'll see you next time right here on Two Chairs. Good night, everybody.